Happy holidays, teachers! Merry Christmas! Well, before the year 2021 ends, I would like to end this year with a thank you video for Native Camp. That's why I'm going to be sharing with you the 6 reasons why Native Camp is the best ESL company ever. And I'm not just saying this because I work for Native Camp. I'm not just saying this to, kiss toot, but I'm saying this with all honesty, with all my heart, with all sincerity, that indeed this is the best company ever. Well, and I know that the best company for me may not be the best for you. So I'm going to do my best to convince you with the 6 reasons I've got here. And, you know, a few months ago, while many of us, thousands of ESL teachers here in the Philippines and all over the world, have been impacted by the double reduction policy in China, that's why we lost our jobs. And for me, that's going to be the second time that I'm going to lose my job because first time was I lost my job due to the pandemic. Second time was I lost my lifesaver job because of the double reduction policy. And thankfully, Native Camp was there to save the day. And I could say that for the year 2021, Native Camp has been my lifesaver. So, to those of you who'd like to be a part of this company, all you gotta do is send me an email at askteacherkaren@gmail.com. I'm gonna be sending you tried and tested tips and tricks for you to pass all in one take. I've already referred like more than 40 teachers. If you want to start your 2022 right, then all you got to do is send your application. And of course, before you do that, send me an email first, and I'm going to do my best to help you. To those of you, my potential students from China, Taiwan, Japan, or all over the world, if you want to have private classes with Teacher Karen, all you got to do is send me no, not send me an email, send me a request on WeChat. My WeChat details are on the description box. So let's get started with my 6 reasons. Reason number one, and this is the best reason ever. Reason number one is Native Camp is pro teacher. Uh huh. Well, previously, I worked for an ESL company based in China, and it was actually a great company. There were so many opportunities. But then again, I felt that the company valued their business more, way, way, way more than how much they value their teachers, to the point that, we had to work even on special holidays. We had to work despite of a calamity. Let's say there's a thunderstorm, flood, or, any catastrophe. We still have to work because of the penalties. The penalties are like times three our class rate. So if your class fee is like 45 pesos, your penalty would be around 135 pesos times three. Um, I've also experienced being forced to work despite recently having a miscarriage because my boss said that it might affect my reputation. I might not have much students, so I still have to work at night even though I'm physically recovering from a miscarriage, emotionally, psychologically coping. They didn't care. But, and this is the reason why looking for a pro teacher ESL company has been the most important factor for me because I've already experienced, being treated as a machine, as a person who doesn't have a family, doesn't have emotions, doesn't have priorities, and your sole purpose in life is to generate income or revenue for the company you're working for. I've already experienced that, not only on my previous ESL company, but even on some of the companies that I've worked for that's not ESL. So I've already experienced that. So being self-employed, my priority is to look for a company that values me as a person, that understands that I am a person who has priorities, which is my family, my health, my husband, and not just the company itself. So I can proudly say that Native Camp is pro teacher, tried and tested. I've been here for almost 5 months, and I'm running 6.5 months in my pregnancy. And trust me, teachers, my pregnancy has been so difficult. Imagine I just had a miscarriage in March, then I got pregnant 3.5 months later, but it was a high risk pregnancy. I was always bleeding. I didn't feel well. I always had that threat that my baby's dead. I always had a threat that, I have to go to the hospital or the ER just to keep my baby alive. But thankfully, my baby boy is alive. Thank you so much to Native Camp because they have been so understanding. Let me just stress this point to you. So, like, back in November or October, I sent an email to Native Camp. I said, Dear Native Camp, I'm sorry I had to cancel 18 classes because I had a scare in my pregnancy. I am at risk of losing my baby because I'm bleeding, I'm not feeling well, and I have been instructed by my doctor to go on full bed rest. Full bed rest or complete bed rest means I can only stand up if I'm going to go to the comfort room to pee. I would have to take a shower while sitting down on a stool while showering. So I'm like basically disabled, right? So I sent an email to Native Camp, and I was like, I told them, oh please, Native Camp, I love your company. I don't want to lose this job. I hope this my pregnancy will not cost me my job because I need this. And then you know what? I wasn't expecting them to respond because we don't have managers here in Native Camp. We don't have supervisors. We only send an email to the system, to the admins. And then they replied to me. And to my surprise, their reply was like, Karen, thank you for sending us an email. We hope you feel better soon. And we understand the situation, blah, blah, blah. Feel free to open classes when you're better. So I was like, what? You're actually supporting the fact that I canceled my classes because of my health and my baby's life? I'm kind of not used to that. Because before, when I had a miscarriage, I was like, okay, so Karen, I understand that you had a miscarriage, and when are you coming back to work? Or Karen, you're gonna lose students, and people are gonna start forgetting you if you don't come to work. So when are you gonna be ready? I need you to be ready by next week. So I'm used to that kind of reply or response. But Native Camp was like, what? You are really valuing me as a person? Well, thank you so much, Native Camp. This is kind of new to me that you're valuing my baby and my health. So, thank you. So, when I got better, I started plotting my schedules again, and thankfully, my students remembered me and I was fully booked. What's my point there? My point there is hello, despite my personal problems, my personal emergencies, I did not lose my job. And there were actually times when I really had to mess up 2021. So there were times when I had to cancel my classes due to health emergencies. Like this one time I thought my husband had COVID-19 because he had fever for like several days. He had colds and cough and I was like, he's going to have COVID and I have a baby. I haven't been vaccinated yet. But thankfully it wasn't COVID. So again, I had to cancel my classes, rush my husband to the ER, and that time most hospitals in Metro Manila were like had full occupancy, so no doctors were available. Uh, Thankfully, Native Camp let me cancel my classes with reasonable penalties. I was able to take my husband to the hospital. I was able to make sure that my husband's okay. And thankfully, it was only a viral infection. So I had some crazy incidents that really forced me to cancel my classes, but still, I have my job. Still, Native Camp values me as one of the elite teachers, one of the best teachers. Still, Native Camp makes me feel that they value me as a teacher. So, you guys, I know I've shared too much, but my point here is if you want to work for a company that sees you as a person, not as a machine, not an income generating, revenue generating entity, but a person, Native Camp is the company for you. Reason number two, to be practical, let's focus on salary. Reason number two, you get a salary increase every 2 weeks. What kind of an awesome company would give a salary increase every 2 weeks? In some ESL companies, you would only get a salary increase after working 6 months, 9 months, after working 2,000 hours, after working 6,000 hours. That's the only time you'd get a salary increase. Not a native camp. They have like super easy, super attainable mechanics to get a salary increase. Let's say your starting salary is at 80 pesos. In 2 weeks, you could get a 4 peso salary increase by simply um, having like 20 book classes, like having 20 students wanting to book your classes and having only less than two low star rating. That's it. And then after 2 weeks, if you get to have 20 book classes again and you only have less than two low star rating, you'll get another 4 pesos until you reach the ceiling, which is 104 pesos per 25 minutes. And imagine I was able to attain that in like, my math is terrible, roughly around 3 months. Roughly around 3 months. After 3 months from 80 pesos, I was able to get a salary increase of 24 pesos. My hourly rate has become 208 per hour, starting from 180 pesos per hour. So that's kind of like a big deal. I've only been here for like 4.5 months, and I've already had like what, six, seven salary increases. So I could say that, this is a company that would compensate you well as long as you work hard, right? As long as you make them feel that you're a professional and you're someone who's taking this job seriously. No need to wait months. No need to work thousands of hours, or no, thousands of minutes rather, thousands of minutes just to get your increase. So, yes, reason number two, it's so easy to get a salary increase in native camp. Reason number three, great bonuses for hard working teachers. So, what are the like basic bonuses? So, every 2 weeks, you're going to be getting 550 pesos if you plotted your schedule and didn't cancel any class at all. By simply not canceling 20 classes, you'll get 550 pesos. And then every 2 weeks, you're also going to be getting a lesson incentive if you were able to have 100 classes. By simply having 100 classes, 100 book classes, you're going to be having another incentive, right? 550 pesos. So that's already 1,100 every 2 weeks, not every month, but every 2 weeks. Other than that, every time you refer a teacher, you're instantly gonna have 550 pesos for introducing new teachers who were able to pass the interview, the demo class, and have taken one classes, or rather have completed one classes, have conducted one class. Another ESL company, the only time that you will be able to get your referral bonus is if the person you referred has already conducted like 100 classes, 160 classes, and by then maybe they're already bored with the company, so most likely you're not going to be getting any referral incentive. But in native camp, if the teacher that you referred conducted one class successfully, you already get your 550 pesos. The fun doesn't stop there, teacher. Take note that I'm just with the company for like 4.5 months. Last month, I think that was like on my third month or 3.5 months with Native Camp, I got an incentive without doing anything. I was just being the usual passionate, loving, sincere teacher that I am. I got an offer to be an elite teacher. I don't have to do anything, okay? I just have to be myself. The thing here is if I'm able to conduct like 160 classes, no, 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 160 classes every 2 weeks, and in a month, I'm able to complete 5,000 minutes. So that's just like working 4 hours, 5 hours per day, or working like 6 hours, 5 times a week. I will be getting instantly a 5,000 peso bonus for completing 5,000 minutes. If I'm able to complete 4,000 minutes, I'll only get 4,000 pesos. If I'll only complete 3,000 minutes, I'll get 3,000 pesos at the end of the month. So this is like a monthly incentive. It's called the Elite Teacher Incentive. So imagine by just simply being yourself, by being passionate, loving, and by having so many booked classes, just simply doing your job, you're going to get an additional 5,000 pesos every month, just like that. So I could say that the bonuses here are quite generous and easy to attain. You just have to simply make Native Camp feel that you are an asset to the company. When we say an asset, you're a person who represents the company well to its students. Reason number four, you are your own boss. Uh-huh. You don't need a team manager. You don't need a team leader, a supervisor, a boss, whatever we call them. You don't need a boss because you are your own boss. Here at Native Camp, you are the one responsible for opening your schedules, managing your issues if you like have problems with the class, you have problems with your schedule, problems with the system. All you got to do is send an email to the admin. They're going to respond in 24 hours and they're going to be able to fix it. Technically, you address your own problems. The great thing about not having a boss is, you get to be self reliant. You get to be your own boss. You get to manage your time. You get to manage yourself. You get to manage your schedule, your salary, and so on. I've already experienced working for a company with a boss, and it's quite difficult. There's just too much pressure. In other ESL companies, they won't be able to open their schedules at their own convenience. They have to have their boss approve it, or everything that they do is like micromanaged by a boss. So the boss would ask, "Why are you absent? Why did you cancel? Why did you do this and that? Hey, you have a complaint, blah, 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 blah." So you don't really get to feel that you're self employed because you have like a boss doing this to you. But in Native Camp, you get to feel that you're really self-employed, that you are your own boss, and that's actually one of the best parts, the best reasons rather, to be self-employed, right? That you don't have another person bossing you around. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to have someone breathing down their neck, Native Camp is for you. Reason number five, reasonable penalties. Native Camp is one of the companies who are not brutal when it comes to penalties. If let's say you cancel your class 24 hours before the class time, you will not get any penalty. If, let's say, you cancel an hour before, at least an hour before your class, you'll only get like a penalty that's like 35% of your class fee. Let's say if your class fee is 104 pesos for 25 minutes, the penalty will only be like 35 pesos. The only time that you will have a complete deduction of the class fee, which is 100%, if your class fee is 104, your penalty is also 104, is if you cancel your class, if you're absent on your class, or you cancel it less than an hour before the class time. But they don't give penalties that's like times three your class fee, because other ESL companies, they do that. Your penalty will be times three. So if my hourly, or rather my class fee is 104 pesos, the penalty will be 312 pesos per class. Imagine if there's like a calamity in your place, let's say Typhoon Odette, all of a sudden you don't have internet connection, there's flood, or there's a family emergency, just like what keeps on happening to me, early in my pregnancy. Uh, Imagine the penalties if they would be charging you times three your class fee. But no, they have reasonable penalties here in Native Camp. And I could say that that's also one of the reasons why they are pro teacher. They know that this is our hard earned money, and they just don't, take away our hard earned salary away from us. So again, that's reason number five. And finally, you get to have a social life. So this might be petty for some of you, but to me, this is something that I value. My social life means getting to spend time with my husband, with my family, getting to visit my mom and my dad, being able to go shopping, have a date with my husband, and so on. These are the things that you could freely do in native camp because they actually don't care how many hours you plot in a week or how many hours you plot in a month. You can decide not to work for a week. You could decide not to work for like several weeks, and you would still get to keep your job. You get to, enjoy more free time. If you don't want to work during weekends, it's okay. Like, work 10 hours a day from Mondays to Fridays, but Saturdays and Sundays would be about family. This is going to be the company for you. Or let's say this is your side job, your part time job. There's not much pressure to plot schedules or plot hours here in Native Camp. You get to do it at your convenience. You are your own boss. And that's something that I wasn't able to do on my previous company because I had to work all weekends of my life. If I'm gonna take a day off on a weekend, that would be usually taken against me that it'll affect my popularity, no one's gonna remember me anymore, it's gonna affect my job and so on. But in native camp, they don't care. Okay, plot at your convenience. We would appreciate it if you would work on Christmas, but if you don't want to work on Christmas, it's okay. So I didn't work on Christmas. I didn't work on the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th, and I was able to enjoy quality time with my family. I'm not going to work on New Year's Day. I'm not going to be forced to work. But again, if you're the type of teacher who wants to work on holidays, it's up to you. But I'm a person who values my social life, and Native Camp also values my social life. And those are the 6 reasons why I am madly in love with Native Camp. Why I would like to end my 2021 with a big thank you to Native Camp. And I really appreciate the fact that you have watched this video until the end. Thank you so much for listening to all the wonderful things that I have to say about this company. And again, just a disclaimer, I'm not just making this video to kiss, toot, but I'm making this out of sincerity. These are words that I speak from the heart, that I'm really grateful to be a part of Native Camp. You have been a lifesaver of my 2021. You have valued my baby, and um, I'm just very thankful to all my Taiwanese and Japanese students in Native Camp who love me dearly. Know that Teacher Karen also loves you. So there you have it, teachers. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Teacher Karen, and comment below if you have like questions or clarifications or I don't know, violent reactions. And to those of you who'd like to be a native camp teacher, send me an email at askteacherkaren@gmail.com. To those of you who'd like to have private classes with me, those from China, Japan, Taiwan, and other Asian countries or Asian countries, European countries, just add me on WeChat or send me an email. To everyone, be a blessing to the people around you. Happy holidays and may you have a great 2022. Bye bye.